All right, Oklahoma suffered a loss on the recruiting trail. Wah, wah, wah. We'll discuss that coming up next here on Locked On.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jay, Peyton Houston has committed to the LSU Tigers, the Bayou Bengals.
Yeah, it's really hard to get Louisiana kids to leave the state of Louisiana. And
it's true.
So it's not that much of a shock. They find their way of convincing them to stay. I mean, one of the bigger things is the travel. You know, if you keep them close enough, even though Shreveport, it's kind of a trek over there into Baton Rouge, but it's a lot easier than trying to do like the Oklahoma trek. So I kind of get why that was the push by them. Plus, at the same time, their quarterback that they have in their backyard, Elijah Haven, he's the number one in some rankings, the number one quarterback in the 2027 class. He's a local kid in Baton Rouge, but he's not from there. He's kind of a transplant. I've heard that he's actually from the state of Florida. So it makes sense that the Gators have kind of the other swamp has an inside track with him
for now.
But I'm going to be honest. I'm really surprised that they had to have put all their chips in on Peyton Houston, because Colton Nussmeier's right there in Flower Mound, Texas, 6'3", top 100 player in the 27 class. I figured that was the quarterback. But I'm guessing the Nussmeier experiment they have right now is telling them they don't want to deal with another one. I don't know why, but that dude has been so loyal to that program. His family has, I've heard, been great, that I would have just kept it all there. But I mean, if I'm Oklahoma, to be honest, I'd go after little Nussmeier. There's a few other options out there, quarterback they're going to go after. But, hey, I'd pick up the phone and be like, hey, Colton, you want to come play in Oklahoma? You know, after what we do to your brother, you should come join the Sooners.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising to me to see that. I was busy working on some other things for Sooners Wire, and then I looked up and like, oh, yeah, Peyton Houston's committing. Oh, wait, he already committed. What? I was expecting this big, later in the afternoon announcement and some kind of, 247 Sports or On 3 show. But no, he pulled a Bo Bentley and just dropped the graphic and committed to LSU. And it kind of surprised me. And I was getting the kids off to school in the morning, so I missed the Steve Wiltfong prediction flip again. Mm-hmm. The flip, the snip, snap of Steve Wiltfong that occurred. I think don't drop prediction flips morning of that. To me, you're hedging yourself. Just say you took an L and it's fine. It's fine.
I mean, he put an article out about it the night before. Like, he put it out Sunday night and said that with intel and conversations he's had, I'm going to go ahead. We're all flipping our stuff because of what we just heard tonight. Yeah. And so I was like, I mean, it makes sense. Like, the morning of, I don't like. I get if you drop an article the night before to let us know. So, but yeah, it kind of, it sucks. Peyton Houston was one I really like. He's very talented. Like, I saw him at BV's camp. Mm-hmm. John, I was there, and I got a couple videos of him. Oh, my goodness. He looks really good. Now, I mean, he's like the size of Kyler, and I'm totally okay with that because he's that talented. It's just, it sucks, but at the same time, I think that Ben Arbuckle has a few more options that he can go after.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about Oklahoma's quarterback recruiting. I trust Ben Arbuckle to be able to identify something that's going to work in his offense. Remember, John Mateer was a 3-star prospect that had one Power 4 offer. I guess Washington State was in the Power 4 at that time when he got the offer, or the Power 5 when the Pac-12 was still alive. Had one Power 5 offer coming out of high school, and here we are. So I trust Ben Arbuckle to be able to identify quarterback talent. It's just now you have to kind of reset your quarterback pursuits, your quarterback evaluations, because they haven't really offered a ton of guys. According to 247 Sports, they've offered 3 guys. One was Peyton Houston. One was Trey Taylor that's committed to Nebraska. And then one was the kid out of St. Louis that I really like. I think he's got a lot of potential. Maybe that's the direction that they go, but he's an unrated prospect. Now, Jim Nagy is not concerned about stars. He doesn't care about any of that. So
they do their own evals.
This could be the kid that they end up going after and trying to secure. we'll see. I mean, the quarterback situation is in pretty solid shape moving forward with, you have John Mateer this year. He's got eligibility for next year. You have Michael Hawkins Jr. and Whit Newbauer and Bo Bentley that will be coming in 2026. Jet New is around as well, who looks like a really, really solid pocket passer. So I think you're in pretty solid shape still. It's just still a bummer to lose a big time recruiting battle, one that you were battling with USC and Lincoln Riley for. We're able to regain momentum in that recruiting battle. And then ultimately on the eve of, you lose it to LSU. It's kind of a stinker, but I understand too, LSU has been a really good quarterback program for the last decade. Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, they've done a good, Garrett Nussmeier, they've done a good job. That's okay. Am I saying they're QBU, Jay? No, I'm not. Don't make that face at me. The fact of the facts.
I'll say this.
Since 2019.
I'll say this. LSU fans probably would not agree with you on what their current quarterback coach has done when it comes to quarterbacks.
Not the last decade. Maybe the last
And I say that specifically because I think that's where you're going to hear a lot of LSU fans kind of balk at, especially because Oklahoma beat them out for Bo Bentley, who is going to be a really good prospect. Mm-hmm. So just keep that in mind. We did win a recruiting battle against them. Yeah. We took him. But I wanted to pivot to one thing, though, before we jump out of here, though, John. I know you saw those firings that happened over the last 24 hours, right? Virginia Tech as well as UCLA. We kind of talked about that. But there's a couple of players that Oklahoma could potentially go after. Now, granted, UCLA, I saw a post. UCLA has not actually started classes yet because they're in the quarter system. Really weird.
That's crazy.
Exactly, right? Very weird. But that doesn't really mean much, mainly because you still can't play for two teams in one season. So anybody that transfers are guaranteed to have to sit. So keep that in mind. But we've seen decommits not like crazy. And remember, Stacey Ford spent some time out there in California. Mm-hmm. He is from said area. Do not be surprised if Oklahoma are potential players for certain athletes that could be coming out of the West Coast. I mention that specifically because Stacey Ford has some ties in that area. I think that's something we're going to keep our eyes on. We're going to dig into their roster. I want to dig into their roster and see who the potential is there. But remember, the director of player personnel and retainment has connections that he can have conversations with now that 30-day window has opened.
Yeah, I mean, he was on that staff.
I know.
He was on UCLA's staff. So
right.
You're kind of
I didn't want to go that far into I know people know, but yeah, exactly.
And we're not saying go after Nico Yamayama, don't do that. But there are going to be some players on that team that you're going to have some interest in. Players that got recruited and retained by that staff that do have a little bit of talent. So we'll see where they go. But it's going to be kind of a free for all. Like everybody's going to be trying to get their hooks in on a lot of these kids, but it's a fascinating thing. The other thing that could come up in the next few weeks is Billy Napier. He could find himself fired if things keep going the way they're going for Florida. They got Miami this week. The schedule does not get any easier after that. He could be one of those guys that gets let go. And then all of a sudden, all these Florida Gators could be available via the transfer portal, or decommitments could happen that open the door for teams like Oklahoma who recruit the Florida area well as well. So these midseason firings, I don't know if we're going to see schools do that very much after we see what happens this year.
Yeah, that's it. The firing this early. I think for some, it's getting ahead of the curve. I mean, I guess institutionally, the way they're playing is just like, it's not going to get any better. We may as well just cut our losses and start the hunt for some jobs. But don't be surprised when our name is mentioned in a lot of these jobs. There's going to be some of our coaches that people are going to go after. Sucks, but that's the good thing about being good.
It is. Board of Regents, you're up. Time to make some raises happen and retain some coaches. But that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Sooners. Thanks so much for tuning in and being a part of the show. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel, Unfair Sports, over on YouTube. You can follow me at John9Williams and read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all your favorite social media platforms. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll talk to you then. Boomer
Sooner. That was a good one, John. A lot of power.
Oh yeah, we're so excited for Auburn week.
Gosh, bring it.